Hello, Bashar.
And to you, good day.
I have a question about addiction.
Yes.
I've heard that addiction can be stemmed from kind of entities
No.
in
No.
the human energy field.
No.
No?
Where's the responsibility there?
I know that was kind of my question.
Thank you. Addiction comes from a belief in lack of self-empowerment, which creates a sensation of emptiness that then the consciousness attempts to fill with anything it can. However, it comes from also a denial of that sense of disempowerment, and therefore, instead of actually knowing that the connection is never left to your source of self-empowerment, you are left to believe that you are disconnected. And since you cannot, through the denial, find a way to feel the connection, you attempt to fill that emptiness with things that then dull your awareness of the disconnection. Mm-hmm. You understand?
That makes sense. I mean, I have a couple psychic, sensitive friends who say, like, if you drink or do drugs, you expand yourself, and you open yourself up to kind of negative, parasitic.
That's different, because you've already created the energy field, and you've already created the vibration that may, in a sense, then match the energy of other entities who may be operating on a similar level and attracting yourselves to each other, so to speak. But it's not, in a sense, parasitic in the way that you mean it. It's simply the idea that it's like vibration to like vibration.
Okay.
You understand? If you find the idea of the belief and let it go and suddenly understand that you are connected to your source of empowerment, you will automatically break that link. And when you're not operating on the same wavelength, something operating on that low wavelength can no longer find you. You become invisible to them. You understand?
Interesting, yes. Thank
But
you.
it's not like they're causing it.
No.
You're the one that's creating it within yourself, and then you're just hanging around with like-minded buddies.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yes.
I have one more question. I live in California by the beach.
All right.
The last few times I've been there, walked along the shore, there's been hundreds of, like, dead bees, or, some of them half alive.
Yes.
Just curious if there's any insight you can provide. I
Well,
don't
your
know.
scientists are already, to some degree, aware that there are certain imbalances that you've created in nature through pollution, through viral contamination, and a few other sources that are, in many ways, causing a deconstruction of the natural connective order. So you're seeing the results of all of that.
Yeah, and I didn't know, like, how they wound up at the beach, It's pretty random, I thought.
Well, there are certain kinds of air patterns and electromagnetic patterns on your planet that once that they have been affected in a certain way, they can no longer navigate correctly along those electromagnetic lines and may wind up in a variety of different places they didn't intend to go because they're following different kinds of magnetic pattern lines on your planet. Yes?
Yes.
That they think are the correct ones that aren't because their senses have been thrown off.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yes, thank you. And I have one yes or no question.
Yes.
My dad, he thinks the Earth is flat. Is the Earth flat? Yes or no?
He thinks the Earth is flat.
Yeah, that whole, I don't know, the theories of the flat Earth.
No disrespect intended, but you could ask him that if he looks in the mirror, does his head appear flat? Or is it round?
Round.
All right. Now, the idea of a flat Earth, and that which seems to be gaining so much more popularity on your planet, is a distortion of perspective and perception, knowing that there are different dimensions. 0 dimension, 1 dimension, 2 dimension, 3 dimension, 4, 5, 6, 7, and so on. The fact that you may be expanding consciousness may be allowing you to perceive that there are realities in which you do experience 2-dimensionality. And therefore, they may assume when they see that kind of perception overlaid on your reality, and they think about the idea of the earth, they may see it or perceive that it could be perceived or experienced as flat. But that's not the dimension you're in. That's not the way you're experiencing it. In your dimension, the earth is a globe, is a ball, is a sphere. But the idea is that as your senses extend beyond your dimension, it will extend in both directions, up and down, and they may perceive an interpretation that allows them to experience the earth from another dimensional point of view, such as the second dimension, which makes it seem flat. That's what's happening, and they're not understanding that it's simply a matter of overlapping perceptions of different dimensional realities. It's not what's happening in your dimension physically. Does that make sense?
Yes, it makes sense.
All right.
Thank you.
And to go back a little bit to the first conversation about the so-called idea of parasitic involvement, you sum it up on your planet with a very old-fashioned phrase. Misery loves company.
Right.
Because they reinforce the negative for each other. That's another technique of the structure of negative beliefs, is that you attract others with negative beliefs to reinforce the negative beliefs within you as you reinforce it within them, so that neither of you will be prone to know that there is a way to change those negative beliefs.
Mm-hmm. Oh, so it's all, it connects.
That's what you mean by the parasitic nature.
So the root is the belief.
Yes, of course, it always is. Because only by defining something to be true can you actually create or generate any kind of an experience from there. You cannot have feelings in a vacuum. You cannot have thoughts in a vacuum. You cannot have behavior in a vacuum. If you don't have a definition for something, you don't know how to feel, you don't know what to think, you don't know how to act. Mm-hmm. It all starts with the definition that you believe is true.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
All right?
All right. Thank you very much.
You're very welcome.
Hello, Bashar.
And to you, good day.
Thank you very much for sharing with us.
And you as well.
I'd like to talk about my mantis connections.
Mantis, yes.
Particularly with one mantis that I've named Thomas.
Well, all right.
Which I've looked up the definition of Thomas, and it means twin.
All right.
I'd like to know what time that Thomas lives in and where he lives, what plane he lives on. And learn more about them.
They are projections of sixth density entities.
Okay.
That have been given organizational supervision over the hybridization agenda, among other things.
Okay.
To help direct it in the course that it needs to go, since the Greys themselves sacrificed their ability to feel anything at all in the beginning. They needed someone to watch over them.
Okay.
And in a lot of encounters with the Greys, and even with some of the mantids, you will find that many of those encounters are representative of an encounter between a portion of consciousness that looks one way in one reality, such as you, and a portion of consciousness that looks another way in another reality, such as a Grey or a mantis. So very often in the encounters, you're actually interacting with another version of yourself.
Okay.
Hence the twin idea.
Okay. I experience mudras,
Yes.
and in some instances, what are like martial arts forms that I do throughout my apartment.
Yes.
And sometimes I can do them with my eyes closed.
Yes. Well, you're
or
following energy lines. You're following energy flow. Your body is responding to how energy is flowing through you.
Okay. What are some of the those expressions? What are some of the physical or the creations that are brought about from it that serves humanity? In what ways?
An acceleration of synchronicity.
Okay.
More of an awareness by matching the frequency at the rate at which reality is created by your consciousness to be able to see the structure of existence itself more clearly.
Okay.
Are some of the benefits that come from aligning with those kinds of energy flows.
Okay. And part of the experience I have is much more electrical charge.
Yes.
Like I'm feeling it right now. I'm shaking from it.
Yes. We'll just flow it through you.
Okay.
by doing what you need to do that is representative of your passion.
Okay.
Because again, the idea is that the energy doesn't need to stay in you. You need to become transparent to it and superconductive to it so it flows through you more efficiently. Because that's one of the other things that happens when you align with these kinds of things, is that you experience more of the path of least resistance.
Okay. So my shaking is just that, it's just evidence of that resistance. Okay.
Yes, of a natural resistance to the idea that it's not actually flowing through you right now as fast as it could be.
Right. And that's what I experience.
Yes. Does that help?
Yeah, that helps a lot.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, Bashar.
And a you good day.
Thank you. Basically, I just recently didn't like the story of my life.
Oh, all right. Are you going to then write a new story?
I am. I'm actually writing the story right now.
How exciting.
I moved to Phoenix,
Oh, all right.
got a new job.
Yes.
Everything in my life is different than it was a few months ago.
Congratulations.
Nothing looks the same.
Congratulations.
So-
Moving to Phoenix and rising from the ashes.
But my question is
Yes.
because you talk about the two different trains,
Yes.
And-
Well, there's more than two, but go on.
right? Or the parallel realities, basically.
Yes,
and
yes,
you
yes.
started with the 9 planets and things like that.
Yes.
Since I've changed my story,
Yes.
changed my surroundings completely.
You're not the same person.
Okay. I guess that's kind of what I was going to ask, yes.
Literally. Not the same person moment to moment to moment, which means that the new person you are has whatever history you define to be true.
Okay. And I feel that. I feel
There you
that
go.
things have changed.
Yes.
And I see the perspective of life differently.
You are in a state where you are more easily capable of breaking what is called continuity.
Okay. I do have to mention, too, I would like to thank Joy, because the synchronicity of she gave me the question, so.
All right. Well, thank you all for your synchronicities.
Yeah.
It's an orchestration.
The other question I had, just a little background as far as when I was a kid, I had near-death experience.
How exciting!
It was because it changed me.
Well, yes, again.
Yeah. It made me search and find, what was really out there because
Yes.
I had that experience of
Which
knowing.
is why you chose to have that.
Right. But just in the last 10 years, I've had numerous medical issues. I've had
How exciting!
pulmonary embolisms,
Ooh,
at least 2,
wow.
2 bowel obstructions,
Oh, my goodness.
and just recently in December,
Are you trying to get back there?
No. I don't know. But in December, I was diagnosed with cancer.
Oh, all right. That's exciting, too.
Yeah. But my whole thing is I'm trying to cope with the limiting belief of
Yes.
I believe that I may have the cancer, but the cancer
All
does
right.
not have me.
Yes.
So that is my
So you
mantra.
can use it however you need to use it
Right.
as a teaching tool, as a learning tool.
But-
Again, since you seem to be doing that a lot, that seems to be the way in which you choose to learn things, by giving yourself things that force you to look at things in a new way.
Yeah.
Since you're using it that way, since you've been using it that way, you can look at this as yet one more form of that. What would you not be doing if you didn't have that experience?
I don't know. I think that it's going to lead me to something else.
Oh, well, of course.
And
So then
there's a
can
reason
you-
why I'm having the experience.
Yes. Can you own and contain it in that way, knowing that it's serving you that way?
I can't,
And that when it no longer serves you, it won't be there? Because you will be a different person then who never had it?
Yeah.
Are you sure? Can you wrap your mind around the 13th step?
Right now it's a struggle because I should be doing like chemotherapy and doing bone marrow tests and stuff like that.
All
but I
right.
have a belief that
Yes.
I have a negative belief against it.
All right.
I don't know that the
make
chemotherapy
sure-
will really serve me.
Make sure that you are clear about your beliefs. Because we understand that many of you prefer to do things in a more natural way, and in general, that is generally best for you. But if you have a belief system that those things will actually work for you, don't ignore them.
Okay.
You have to be honest about your belief, because it may be teaching you something to go down that path and learn it that way. without necessarily always just automatically shutting a door that might serve you just because you don't want it to be the way in which something will work for you, because you think you should be being more spiritual than that.
So
Sometimes the most spiritual thing to do is to give over to the actual belief system that will guide you through the process you need to go through. Not saying you have to do it one way or another, but just make sure you are clear about why you are saying you don't want to do it that way. Because if you examine your beliefs, you may find that there is a combination of things you can do, some of this, a little of that, that may actually be your true path between all the different decisions, all the different choices.
Okay.
So don't ignore, but make sure you are clear about what is true for you and what isn't. And that you're not labeling something as untrue just because you're afraid of it. Just because you think you shouldn't have to do it that way. That's all we're saying.
So is my belief strong enough to...
It's not about strong enough. It's about what you know to be true for you. It's about clarity.
Okay.
Is it clear enough? That's what we're saying.
Okay.
So, use this time to examine your beliefs, see what conclusions you come to when you are willing to open up to allowing all choices to be equally valid, so that you can choose what you truly prefer without invalidating what you don't prefer. And that will guide you. That energy state will guide you.
Okay.
All right?
Yeah.
That's your process right now.
Okay. Thank you.
And remember that death is your friend. You've used it many times to help you change course.
I don't think I'm afraid of it. I've stared at it a few times, so...
Exactly. So there's no reason to be afraid now, is what we're saying. No matter what this leads to, there's no reason to be afraid, because you're familiar with the territory. Yes?
That makes sense.
All right. And what you're doing right now is letting go of negative beliefs through the chemistry of your tears. You follow? Every time you hold on to a negative belief or you change yourself and let go of old ideas, before, when you held on to the idea, when you had the idea, you always create a chemical component, a chemical reflection in your body of an energetic belief. Once you change and let go of an old belief, you actually have to release the chemical constituent that went along with that belief, and more often than not, most of you do it through your tears. You're washing the chemical reflection of the negative belief out of your body, literally.
Well, it's a release. It feels good.
Exactly. That's why it feels good, because you feel lighter after doing it, because you actually have dropped things that are no longer relevant for you.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
It does. It's crystal, yeah.
All right.
It is.
And please always remember that as you go on this journey, whatever it is you know you're all about, whatever it is you know you can do, remind yourself, you can, sir. You can, sir. You understand?
Yeah.
I can, sir.
Yes.
I can be who I prefer to be. I can, sir. Yes?
Yes. I appreciate that.
You are very welcome, and you're not alone. You're having help with this from your guides and many other beings. You're never alone on this journey, ever. You're walking hand in hand with others.
Okay. Sorry.
No. There's no need to apologize. You expressed yourself. It's beautiful. All right? Yeah. All right. Sweet dreams.
Cancer. You can, sir. I got it.
And so can you, sir.
Okay.
Good day.
Thank you, Bashar.
Hello, Tadeo.
Nania.
So we have a few questions from our Ustream listeners.
Yes.
The first one is, what is your concept of forgiveness?
Forgiveness is a centering in gratitude and appreciation for who you are and all that you have experienced, and knowing that you are as powerful as you need to be to manifest whatever you need without having to hurt yourself or anyone else in the process. And it is gratitude and appreciation for that realization and letting go of things that do not serve you or allow you to serve others.
So this whole idea with forgiveness, like I think sometimes people are angry at other people.
Yes.
And then they have to find a place where they forgive the other person.
But they have to forgive themselves, because mostly what they're angry at is themselves.
And the reason that we get angry at ourselves, which then ends up being projected onto someone else.
Yes, which doesn't excuse that they may have actually done something negative. That's not what we're saying.
Okay.
But what we're saying is anyone that reacts negatively in that way has an issue that that person obviously triggered within them. And therefore, they are angry within themselves that that has come up and that that person has been able to actually push that button, that the button even exists. So forgiveness involves the idea of acknowledgement and awareness that that negative belief is within yourself and letting that go, and then also having the compassion and empathy to recognize that this person may have done you a service by bringing that to your attention within yourself so that you no longer have to have that anger at yourself for containing something you thought you shouldn't contain but did.
Also, it seems like it comes down to discernment. Like I've personally experienced, and I'm sure others have too, the idea that you get angry at yourself for not discerning that another person will choose a negative behavior.
Whatever the reason is that's imposed upon the structure, it's still the same structure. So you're angry at yourself.
Right. So that idea of being angry at the self for not discerning correctly, why does that seem so threatening to us?
Well, because again, you are taught other beliefs about how you are supposed to appear successful, how you are supposed to appear smart, how you're not supposed to allow yourself to get taken advantage of, how you're supposed to this and supposed to that and supposed to this and supposed to that. And therefore, eventually, you realize that all these different supposed tos have happened, and now you're very angry with yourself for allowing all these things that weren't supposed to happen. Because you have this idea that they're not supposed to happen, when in fact, obviously, they needed to happen to point out that you needed to let go of those beliefs. So they were supposed to happen in order for you to actually progress and grow and mature.
Can it also be something where it's a survival issue, the idea that if you discern danger correctly, then you survive? So if your discernment isn't working correctly in your environment, can we often perceive that as being life-threatening almost?
Yes, not that it necessarily is, but because of the lack of clarity of what the belief system is, it will often key into your survival mechanism and be blown out of proportion to make you react as if you have to react that way to survive. Yes.
So that makes a lot of sense, that one of the reasons that people take it so hard when they're tricked by another person or they feel that they've made a poor choice, didn't see the red flags, whatever.
Yes.
That it harkens back to our orientation of ourself in the world and in the universe.
Yes.
And the idea that you can feel disoriented if things turn out to be quite a bit different than you think they are.
Although that's a little different. But again, remember that when you go back into that reaction, it's going to key into all sorts of negative belief issues like I'm not worthy, I'm not deserving. And by having this experience and the inability to discern what would have prevented that experience from happening, it reinforces the whole issue that it's tapping into. I'm not worthy, I'm not deserving. This is something that I can't survive because it's annihilating my sense of self-worth. It's reinforcing the idea that I'm no good, I don't belong, so on and so forth. It's tapping into all of that and magnifying all of that. So it becomes this jumble of negative belief system reinforcement that can escalate to the point where it feels like a survival issue.
And so the way out of that, now that we've brought that to light,
is to take responsibility for your particular reaction regardless of what another person might have chosen to do, so that you can stop the cascade effect and realize that you don't necessarily need to react. You have something that you can examine within you and find out whether it's true or not, or whether it actually leads you to an understanding or a recognition of a belief that you need to let go of, and therefore you can explore it in a positive way.
I'm just wondering if there's sort of a quick self-reminder at that point, because I've seen this happen to so many people that it can really throw you off when
I
that
create
happens.
my reality. No one else does. I create my experience. No one else does.
So is it sort of the circuit breaker?
Yes.
It actually comes back to the circuit breaker.
Yes. Because if you remind yourself that you're creating your experience, then you can be the only one that's responsible for changing it.
Right.
So it puts you right back into self-empowerment.
So I think the circuit is, I feel such and such. I feel such and such because
I believe such and such about myself.
And I believe that because I think that it serves me.
Because I believe that it serves me.
And so
And that's
why
where
would
it
I
goes back
believe that?
to the motivational mechanism.
Why would I believe
You
that
will
serves me?
always go towards you believe will serve you. You will always move away from what you believe will not. So if you're going toward things that don't serve you, that means your motivational mechanism is tied to beliefs that allow it to operate in reverse of the way it's designed to operate in a positive way.
I've actually found with the circuit breaker that you don't even have to know the answer to the question of
Correct.
why would I believe that this serves me. All you have to
Yes.
do is acknowledge that you're doing it for what you believe to be a positive reason. So in a sense, if another person tricked you, you allowed it to happen because you believed that it would serve you, or that the choice that you were making.
Yes. And again, it doesn't condone their action, but the idea is you are learning to use it in a positive way that serves you by taking that stance, by taking that state of being, instead of assuming that you've actually been duped.
Right. So right there, you can feel the energetic shift
Exactly.
between feeling victimized to realizing that you chose an experience
Yes.
so that you could become more aware, because this is
Yes.
a place where you're learning
Yes,
things.
because
And-
if you have the idea that you feel victimized, what's actually happening is that person has put you in touch with the fact that you have victim-level belief systems about yourself. Again, it doesn't condone what they did, because they obviously have victim-level belief systems too in order to have done what they did. But nevertheless, they put you in touch with your own, and that gives you the opportunity to remain in a positive state and deal with it in a way that will allow you to accelerate through the process of divesting yourself of those belief systems. And then that turns you into a being that can be the state of being that might actually help the other person realize they can do the same.
So when it all comes back to forgiveness now, it actually has a lot more depth, the idea of
Yes.
forgiving yourself when you recognize that at some level you were choosing this for a positive reason.
Yes.
And also recognizing that the other person was, in a sense, a person in your play, in your drama,
Yes.
and that they were making themselves available for that, regardless
Yes.
of whether they had negative intention
Yes.
or not.
Remember that when everyone is self-empowered, there will be no one to answer the call to reinforce belief in victimhood. You understand?
Yes.
Victims in that sense will simply be isolated and get tired of playing the victim game and suddenly re-empower themselves, because that's the only example they're given. So the last victim will automatically empower themselves when no one else is willing to play the victim game.
And that's part of what we're learning here, is not to play the victim game,
Exactly.
because we
Because
actually
you are not victims.
because we're so powerful. I mean, it's
Yes.
our consciousness that's generating
Yes.
the whole experience to begin
Exactly.
with.
So remember that when you feel powerless, you're using your power to create the feeling that you're powerless, which means you're in power. It's all about how you're using your power, not that you actually can be powerless. Anything else?
No, I think that's It's a great exploration. I really appreciate that. So, if you're hungry, well, you're probably not hungry.
No. But you may all enjoy your nutrition break, and we will resume this transmission after your lunch. Thank you.
Thank you, Tessa.
G'day, Bashar.
And to you, good day.
How you going?
Perfect, and you?
Yeah, going really good. Really excited to chat to you.
All right, please begin however you so desire.
Hey, yeah, I wanted to ask a few questions. Like, one of the questions was kind of to do with about knowingness.
Yes?
And you've said before that you, I think you're referring to us too, but you say you know what you need to know when you need to know it.
Yes.
Um,
You are gaining experience with that idea so that you don't necessarily have to use the concept of memory in the way that you've been using it. You will know through synchronicity exactly what you need to know, exactly at the moment you need to know it. Not a second before, but not a second later. This will become more common as your species accelerates its vibration.
all right. So I wanted to kind of put that to the test to understand the parameters of how that worked a bit more. And like, so like it might be the case that because you've already pointed it out, in given circumstances,
Yes.
the relevant information will come through, as you stated. But I was going to say, like, let's say if you were in a circumstance where there was a hard drive and you couldn't recover the password through conventional means,
Yes.
could you use your intuition and your knowingness to understand what the password was?
You could, and all you have to do that is continue down whatever path you are capable of continuing down that represents following the formula, acting on your highest passion to the best you can, with no insistence or assumption as to what the outcome is going to be, and remaining in a positive state, no matter what happens. That is the state of being that will allow, if it's relevant, you to have that information. If you are doing that, following that formula as precisely as you can, and that information doesn't come, that should be your first clue that you don't actually need it in the way you think you do.
Right, so it actually serves you to maybe not have the information in some context as well.
Sometimes, or again, you're simply giving yourself the opportunity to practice getting it in a different way. But following the formula is the way that will let you know whether or not that information is relevant for you. Because if it is, nothing will stop it when you're in that state.
Right. And what I also wanted to ask too, because you proposed the challenge about the collective consciousness of the SSRNI has the information regarding a title of a transmission. And so I wanted to sort of asking with knowingness as well, what if, does there have to be a reference point of where you're actually tuning in to get the information, or can you just have a knowingness in general? Like,
You can in general, but we have given this idea of this interaction in this way to have a little bit of fun with all of you, to have you play a little bit. So you don't have to focus on it too strongly. Just go with the flow and see what comes up when you think about that idea.
For that particular, yeah. Right, because I was thinking about, like, if you had like a circuit board, did you need to be like a stone speaker, so to speak, and understand the mineral consciousness to have that talk to you?
We did not offer you an interactive opportunity that would be that difficult.
Oh, yeah, cool. And also, just on another topic, I wanted to sort of talk about how Willa was going and what in Willa's timeline.
Yes.
What kind of technological manifestations does she have upline, like that they exhibit, that you'd be excited to talk about that's different to now?
Well, there are many, many, many. But of course, remember that we are far beyond that technology as well. She is 700 years ahead of you, but our civilization is 3,000 years ahead of you. Nevertheless, there are many things that are existing in Willa's timeline that are quite wonderful. The idea of what we have referred to before as the Shadok. Do you know that or remember that?
Can you please re-explain Shadok?
It sort of looks loosely like the idea of what you might refer to as your Stonehenge, But as you pass between the upright stones, it's a teleport system that takes people anywhere on the planet in the blink of an eye.
Oh, wow. And that takes their physicality there as well?
Yes, literally. A teleport system.
Whoa. And that's possible?
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Um,
Now, it doesn't operate the way your scientists might think it does. It operates in a very different way. It operates more similarly to the idea we have described about how our spacecraft go from star to star in the blink of an eye. It's a very different principle than what many of your scientists are thinking about at this point. But by Willa's time, they have understood this idea and have incorporated it into a teleportation system around the planet.
and what do they use to facilitate, and what do the Essassani or the Sasanian people use to facilitate, do you still use electricity, or is there other forms of technology that you use?
There are other forms. There are many other forms. We can use sometimes what is called positronic energy. We can utilize what many people on your planet are beginning to refer to as zero-point energy. Now, there can be electrical side effects to many of these things, but it doesn't necessarily mean that only electricity is involved.
Is there anything inherently negative about using electricity? Or
No, not inherently. It just depends upon the frequencies that you choose to create that determine whether it is in harmony or in dissonance to the vibrations of your bioelectric and biomagnetic fields of your bodies. It's all about resonance. It's all about harmonics. It's not about the thing necessarily itself. It's how you use it.
and how has that changed the effects to nature by having teleportation? How has that influenced the planet?
Well, again, it is totally in harmony with it because it's using natural principles. It's not a technology that in any way, shape, or form has any detrimental side effects.
Oh, right. And is that facilitating greater ability to care for nature or greater...
Oh, well, yes, but in Willa's time, remember that they have long since deconstructed and restored the planet to a much more natural state. There is actually, in their understanding of history, after the hybrids land and start living among you, there will literally be, from your point in the future, but from their point in the past, there will literally be a period of time referred to as deconstruction and restoration of the planet.
Yeah, that's really exciting and amazing.
Yes.
Well, maybe sort of slightly related to this, I wanted to ask, do hybrid... how could that look that... So we are, as we are now, and then we could possibly moving into the 6 hybrid race.
That will happen eventually, yes. Willa is in the process of that. Her time period is in the process of becoming the 6th hybrid race, much farther along than what you are right now.
Oh, right. And do they utilize... there was a questioner that came on, I think, last year, and he... you and him had a discussion about mathematics with geometric shapes.
Yes, we interpret the idea of scientific principles more through the idea of geometric symbols rather than through the idea that you use of mathematical notation.
And it sounded very advantageous. You was talking about a tetrahedron and that you could actually do physics in a greater way. And I was wondering if, do hybrid children, are they taught mathematics with geometric shapes, or are they...
They're taught many different things, and again, because they have to blend into your society, it might be to their advantage for some of them to be excited about learning mathematical notation. Others may be more excited about the geometric form, and others may be more excited about other forms from other cultures as well. So it just depends upon the proclivity of the particular hybrid child as to what they are attracted to by acting on their passion.
And so is that all being... I mean, there could be lots of beings involved in this orchestration. Is that
Which orchestration are you referring to? The hybridization agenda?
yeah, or the teaching as well. So you've stated that the first ones will be the Yahyel. Is it that?
No. The Yahyel will be the first hybrids that might make open contact with Earth, but the Shalanaya are the hybrid children that will eventually come to live among you physically on the Earth.
Melanoma. And are they, so is that the genetics of our current human society? Is that, what's that
Yes.
mix with? Or?
The Greys, which are other mutated humans, and a smattering of other extraterrestrial beings throughout the cosmos.
And so to speak, is that going on right now?
Oh, yes, it's been going on for quite some time. Has shifted now from the idea of the extraction of genetic material into the education of the hybrid children to allow them to practice learning how to live among you. So now it's gone into the acclimation phase.
And so this society that you indicated that Willa was moving towards, is that the same as saying the new Atlantis?
Well, you can call it that if you wish, but it's far beyond that idea. The idea of going into the sixth hybrid race, with Willa and a few others being the seeds of the seventh, is the idea of the hybrid races, all of them, blending into something that we call the Anuhet, which is the seventh hybrid race, which is very different than any of the other six, and will establish the idea of an interstellar alliance that will last for 100,000 years.
And so I wanted to, with the Anuhet, I wanted to ask, like, in creation, is there new existential realities that are kind of like things that are new to creation itself, or all that is actually aware of the Anuhet? Because you've already stated that there are...
Yes, of course. In that sense, remember, everything exists all at once. What is, to use your word, new, are the perspectives and experiences of the existence of all that is. So the structure never changes. Everything that exists or will exist already exists now. But the experience of it, the perspective of it, that is what changes constantly and expands the idea of creation. So in a sense, yes, the Anuhet already exist, but the experience of what that means, in a sense, is a new creation, just to use loose terms.
Wow, so we could be in for a really exciting ride, seeing that unfold.
Oh, absolutely. Nothing less than.
And that's what you're involved with too, right?
Yes, or we wouldn't be talking to all of you.
Yeah. And so your reality's, like, even though you've stated that it's 10 times faster, is it still concurrent to us? But I guess that doesn't matter to say that, because you've said that all...
It doesn't matter. A vibration of violet light is a higher frequency than a vibration of red light, yet they are concurrent in your rainbow.
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah. And I just, how did it, like, so how does creation facilitate the interaction of, because
creation doesn't facilitate. Existence just is. All of the different combinations of everything it can be are, in a sense, by the nature of what they are, by the nature of the frequency they operate on, self-facilitating. Everything simply goes to the level that the vibrational frequency is representative of. So it's not like creation is directing anything. Existence is just what it is. But every manifestation, every variation, every conceivable arrangement within it is self-facilitating simply by the fact that everything exists on a different resonant frequency level.
I just thought it was really exciting that there could even be the concept that the Greys could have interaction with us. Like, I thought that was, yeah, like, so that's you've just already sort of stated how that could be so.
Well, yes, they use their technology to tunnel into different parallel realities, including yours, where human DNA was still viable because they had lost the ability to reproduce, being that they used to be another version of Earth and they used to be human. But they mutated themselves because of different things that they chose to do in their technology that destroyed their version of Earth and made them incapable of reproducing.
And so this is a Vesica Pisces third reality where we've interacted with the Greys rather than it being one where that hasn't happened. So out of all the spectrum of...
Yes.
Oh, right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And in old Atlantis, like, were there genetic modifications? Like,
there were.
is a mermaid is that being actually created from, are they real creations from?
They were to some degree experiments in genetic manipulation, but the idea in your present day is a representation of an elemental being that doesn't really exist in your dimension exactly, though it can from time to time make itself appear in your reality. But they don't actually live in your ocean in physical reality.
Oh, right. And talking about elemental beings, I wanted to ask, like with the 5G technology and non-ionizing radiation, I wanted to ask, because you stated that if it's in phase with itself,
if it's tuned properly, yes.
Tuned properly. I wanted to know what nature consciousness and the elementals thought of there being lots of possible non-ionizing radiation, is that considerable to it or negligible to it? Like, does it care?
It depends on the elemental being and the purpose for which they might interact with that kind of energy. We have to take it on a case-by-case basis.
Case by case. Because I thought that was. Okay. Sorry, I'm going to quickly jump to another question.
All right, but this will be brief because we must move on.
Yeah, thank you so much for your time. So I wondered about Moldavite and blue Moldavite, if it had been discovered, and how Moldavite relates to Orion, Maldek, Mars, and Earth.
There is a vibrational relationship because it has been in space and represents a certain reflection of a cycle or a lineage from ancient Orion to Maldek to Mars to Earth. So there is some connection, although it represents other things as well. But this is a longer story than we have time to go into now.
No problems. And thank you so much for this manifestation and chatting with you. It's been a real honor.
It is our passion and our pleasure. We thank you. Good day.
Good day. Highest and best.
Aveo. And to you, good day.
Greetings, Bashar, from the Pandemic Center of New York City.
Oh, all right. How exciting for you.
It was, but it's very intense.
Yes.
And then today I have 3 topics to discuss with you.
All right. Speak up.
Sure. The first topic is my near-death experience.
How exciting. Do tell.
It was super intense. And then...
You like that word, don't you? Intense.
It is very intense.
Oh, all right, if you say so.
I would like to express my gratitude for all the spirit guides during this process, like Anubis and Kukumas. So how did they know each other?
Well, it depends. Can be part of a soul family, can simply be part of an agreement to assist certain kinds of beings in a certain way. It can be many different reasons that they might interact.
I see. So I feel like this virus actually transformed me. I'm the ground zero of...
Well, in a sense, yes. It's one of the opportunities that it presents to people on your planet to allow themselves to be transformed in a way that might accelerate them toward more of who they wish to be.
So does that mean I'm kind of mutating right now because of the virus?
In a sense, yes, although not necessarily directly because of the virus in terms of a causal way, but in the sense that you're willing to allow yourself to alter your frequency and thus your genetics in response to the reflection brought about by the virus.
So during this process, I constantly seeing the triangles, and particularly, well, I didn't do that on purpose, but...
No, but it's a representation of stability.
I see. And then particularly, I also saw the black triangle with the blue light in the background. I'm just wondering, did I get any help from your civilization?
Well, you're tapping into the collective consciousness, so you're doing that to aid and assist yourself, which is perfectly fine. That's why we gave that symbol to all of you, so that you could tap into our collective consciousness and assist yourselves in the stabilization process when you go through these challenges.
So during this challenge, I was informed by my higher self that I will be part of the artificial intelligence. So it shows me that there's a very long hose. It's like connected to the machine and then attached to my third eye. And then my higher self said, do not be afraid of the machine. I'm wondering how it works.
Well, that's a symbolic representation using symbols that exist in your physical mind to represent what's going on in energy in a higher dimension. It's not a literal machine.
I see.
But it's a way of understanding that you are giving yourself an opportunity to connect more strongly to your higher mind, which is very similar to the idea that people on your planet refer to as higher or artificial intelligence.
So, in other words, I'm not going to get another implant.
No.
I see. That also leads to the next question is the hybrid children and the ships.
Yes.
So during this process, I saw that my third eye was widely open. And then I saw this little boy wobbling and very happy walking toward me.
Yes.
And the little boy, is that the hybrid kid I'm going to meet in the future?
Possibly. There's a high probability, although it's not absolutely definite yet, because many things have to change first before these things become completely crystallized. But the probability is high, yes.
Can I know the percentage?
Above 80.
Wow. Does he have a name yet?
Toying with one. Not sure yet. Could be something similar to either saffron or something of a spice that has a kind of strong effect.
Wow. Definitely, I will look forward to it.
All right.
So I have very intense dreams, and then
There's that word again.
yes, it's very synchronized.
Do you spend a lot of time camping? Since you like to be in tents so often?
Kind of.
All right.
So
Please do remember, it's all right for things to be intense. Challenges can be intense, but please, as a reminder, don't automatically assume that intense is negative.
It's very exciting.
All right.
And I have so much fun with riding these rabbits.
All right. So do continue.
This girl, she dressed up like a maverick magician, and then she installed an eye of discernment on my right eye. I'm wondering how that works.
This experience you had where, when, how?
It was in a dream.
Yeah.
And then she told me that she's gonna show me something she found from the Grand Central Station. So it was like a ring, and the ring keeps spinning and spinning. And eventually, there's a green laser light out of the ring, and then it forms a green shape of an eye, and then all of a sudden it pops.
All right. These are simply energetic adjustments that the beings you are working with on another level are helping to make in your energy, to help align you, to help connect you more strongly. So you're simply remembering in certain symbolic form some of the adjustments to your energy that are being made with the assistance of other beings that you are interacting with on that level.
I see. Another experience was like in the dream realm. I was beamed into a ship, but this ship is actually look quite different. It's actually like a museum, very classic looking. And then I was informed that I should put my hand into the black box to draw an animal for the spiritual companionship. Yeah. So the one I picked up is actually the caterpillar from Alice Wonderland. I wonder how that.
All right.
Well, again, you are allowing yourself to recognize the symbol of your own transformation, because the caterpillar changes into the butterfly, which is the very strong symbol in your collective consciousness of transformation from a lower vibration to a higher vibration.
And then last month, a few weeks ago, I put a contact crystal by my window, and I saw a very big orb. It's very neon and white flying by my window.
Yes.
And I'm wondering who that was.
A spirit guide.
Is that the tall white?
No, a spirit guide.
Oh.
Not an extraterrestrial. A spirit guide.
I got you. And then I was so excited to, one night, also during the pandemic, I saw more than 30 ships, and they're popping out of the cloud. And then,
well, there's a lot of traffic around you all the time. It's just that as you raise your frequency, your senses become more capable of perceiving what's going on all around you. They become visible.
So they're flying toward east to Long Island. I'm wondering what.
There's a lot of traffic going here and there, to and fro, for a variety of reasons. I can't list them all. Some of them are simply on their own business. Some of them are observing. Some of them are connecting. Some of them are helping. It just depends. But all I'm saying is, if you all really get to the point where you raise your frequency to allow your senses to become more capable of perceiving things on higher frequency levels, you will realize that there are many, many things, many ships, many beings, many different kinds of manifestations passing through your reality overhead all the time, and even through your planet all the time. It just becomes sort of more like you're living right next to an airport.
Yes, and then also I'm so grateful for the moon meditation from Sedona last year.
Yes, well, it is our pleasure to deliver suggestions for permission slips that your imagination can alter in whatever way, shape, or form works best for you.
And then after the meditation, I do it myself, and the moon started turning to a smiley face. And then every time I look at the moon, meditate with it, and there's a different being talking to me.
All right. So you're using that as a reflective permission slip.
So it's a reflection.
Everything is a reflection.
That's
Remember, physical reality isn't real. It's a mirror.
So the third topic is the non-physical energy. And just through synchronicity, I have been come across lots of tetrahedrons. And then our physicists saying that one group of them, they said if we keep cutting the physical reality to the smallest, it's actually like a triangle crystal.
Is like a tetra.
One piece. So sometimes recently I've been very, very afraid.
Very
Afraid.
of.
Afraid of what might happen in the future.
Well, that's the easiest question to ask to reveal what the negative beliefs are that you're holding on to, that you think benefit you somehow. That's exactly the perfect question to ask. If I did, in fact, allow myself to be who I prefer to be and follow my passion in the way I would prefer to, what am I most afraid might happen?
Yeah.
That will usually reveal the negative belief. And then you have something to work with and ask yourself, well, why do I believe that to be true? Yeah. Why do I believe that it benefits me to hold on to that? What am I afraid of in terms of the alternative? Why do I have a definition of the alternative that's supposed to be my excitement that I would be defining as something negative?
Yeah.
Because again, that would instantly tell you that you don't have a clear definition of excitement. Because if you actually had a clear definition of your passion, you would understand that by definition, your passion cannot contain a negative experience. And when you say, well, I'm going to act on my passion, but if I do, something negative might happen, that's not a definition of your passion. It's a different definition that you're working with.
Uh-huh.
So you have to be very clear and precise about your definitions.
Yeah, thank you.
And when you hear things come out of your mouth or thoughts go through your head that sound like facts, you have to stop yourself and catch yourself and remember they're not facts. They're just opinions, perspectives, and beliefs, and they can be changed. Yes?
Yes.
Because when people on your planet say, well, everyone knows how difficult that is, no, they don't. It's not a fact. It's a fact that you believe it, but it's not an empirical fact unto itself that things have to be a struggle. That's just an opinion, a perspective, and what you've been taught, it's a belief that you bought into as true. And that's all it is. And those things can always be changed. The only things that can't be changed are what we call the 5 laws, the only 5 facts we have ever found in existence. You exist, everything is here and now, the one is all, the all are one, what you put out is what you get back, and everything changes but the laws. That's it. Everything else is a perspective.
Thank you.
Does that help?
It does.
Thank you.
I have a question about forgiveness.
Forgiveness, yes.
So when I decide I want to forgive someone,
Yes.
one method I reach for is imagining that they're doing the absolute best they can given their past and current circumstances.
Yes, they are.
Sort of
all of you are.
Yeah, like a forgive them, Father, they know what not they do kind of idea.
Kind of.
Kind of.
Yes.
But I notice that sometimes sets up in me a subtle like superiority of them, which is...
Well, then you have to examine things within you that you need to forgive within yourself.
Yeah.
Yes?
Yes. I was going to ask, the question is, what is there a frame of reference I could use for forgiveness that wouldn't lead me down that path as much? Or is it just the one that you just said to forgive myself?
Well, again, you understand that some people may simply never have been taught the tools they need to express themselves in a more positive way. So you can come from compassion in the same way that you don't really hold a child to blame or responsible for something that they don't understand how to do better. Yes?
Yes.
You teach them how to do it better. Now, it doesn't mean they have to choose it.
Right.
But the idea is that you need to be the shining example that will allow them to know that at least there's an option for how they could be living their life more joyfully by seeing that you're doing it. Because generally speaking, when you see empowered people, you want to know how they're empowered. And you will want to figure out how to do the same thing for yourself. So teaching them the instruction manual, how it works, will at least give them the option. They may still be holding on to beliefs that won't let them abide by it or use it to their advantage, but you've done what you can, and what they do with what you've taught them is none of your business.
Right. I can have compassion for their experience and respect their choices.
And absolutely respect their choices, because you don't know what their path actually is.
No.
And you don't know what they really might need to go through in order to have a greater appreciation when they finally do understand how to transform.
Yeah.
All you can do is give them some options and be on your way.
Thank you.
Does that help?
That does.
All right.
And just in parting, what frequency are you reading in me?
Right now?
Yes.
Well, about 156,000 cycles per second.
Thank you very much.
You're
My
very welcome.
unconditional love to you, Bashar.
And you as well.
Hello, Bashar.
And to you, good day.
I have two questions.
Yes.
One is about human death.
Human death?
Death, yes.
Yes.
I'm
What
sorry.
about it?
Seemingly, well, it relates to the negative beliefs. Seemingly human when we die.
Yes.
Human means Earth human. We have a lot of negativity beliefs.
About what happened?
About death.
Yes, I know.
And that might be creating a lot of disease or
Absolutely.
pain.
Absolutely. Because as we said, death is just waking up from a dream.
Yes, I understand that. But not many human doesn't. And it might be maybe you can help me to how to support who doesn't understand this concept or the mechanism.
Well, again, you can only give them the information based on your level of understanding, and you have to allow them to understand it or not understand it. But that's all you can do. It's something that can be explained. More and more people on your planet are beginning to investigate the concepts of what happens after you die and are realizing that you do continue, that there are many kinds of things that can be experienced in spirit, that it's really up to you to choose. More and more of that information is finding its way into your society. This is why you are realizing that subjects like so-called near-death experiences are becoming more and more well-known. Because people die, they go to the other side, they say, oh, this isn't so bad, and then they come back and say so. So there's a lot of information that people can find if they're interested in finding it. And you can be a part of that research and give them information and so on and so forth to the best of your ability, but that's just about all you can do.
So after we understand that how exactly transition is, then we don't have to have a disease or suffering.
No, not really. You don't have to.
Through the death.
No, you don't have to.
So we don't have to create.
We don't have it.
Yeah.
Our society has none of it.
Yeah, that's I imagine.
When it's time to go, we just go. Now, the idea, again, is you can also help people understand this by helping them understand that physical reality isn't real. It's just a dream. So if you start with the understanding of people becoming more lucid in the physical dream and understanding it's just a projection of consciousness, then they'll understand that death is really no big deal. Because in a sense, you're already dead.
Yes.
Because as I said, spirit is your natural state. Therefore, you're just pretending that you're not in spirit. So if you can understand that physical reality isn't real, the experience of it is real, but the solidity of it is not. Mm-hmm. And even your own physicists are beginning to understand this. It's just a projection. Mm-hmm. So the more you understand the illusionary aspect of physical reality, the easier it will also be to understand the reality of non-physical reality. You'll start to blend them together. There won't be so much of a difference between the two states. Yes?
Yes.
All right, so that's one way to go about it. What's your second question?
Related to that ending part.
Did you say alien?
No, ending part of your answer. That
Yes.
You said it to blending spirit and
Yes.
And I am experiencing a lot of this now. And
It's part of the symptoms of expansion of consciousness, that you start seeing how unreal physical reality is and how real spiritual reality is.
And creating my reality, even the physical condition that from inside of me, inner part of me, that higher. Well, I don't like to say higher or the lower, but
it's all right. We understand what you mean by that.
Yes, the word is sometimes hard to explain.
That's a belief system.
Yes, I know. That's why it's hard.
That's a belief system too.
So I understand the concept of turning off, just to take off the light bulb, today's conversation. I have another belief system before you say, I hope that that much easy, just take
You don't have to hope it. If you understand the concept, you'll know that it works. Knowing is way beyond hope and faith. You understand how things work.
Yes, and that understanding or knowing is automatically coming through my
That's part of the process
journey.
of transformation on your planet at this time. So congratulations.
Oh, thank you. But it's just giving, right now I am a little bit, hard time of those merging two, and one side is the spirit or expanded consciousness, the way I live.
Yes.
Daily life, and also all the belief system I have in this identity of my human Mikiko.
Yes.
And those are just a belief system I accumulated in.
Well, it's a mask.
Yes.
It's a part that you're playing. Now, you at every level will still feel like your identity, your core identity, never goes away. You will always see yourself still as you. But the idea of Mikiko is just a part of the greater you. So when you expand into spirit, Mikiko won't go away, but Mikiko will be a part of what you are as a greater being. It will still be you. Yes?
Like a beach, but also beach contains the grain of sand, and Mikiko is the grain of sand.
Yes.
And it's still there.
Did you just call yourself a beach?
Well, I am beach in that sense, but I still have this, and then a multidimensional different being that you explained to the other questioner.
Yes.
I understand that, and then I can feel I'm having different dimensional experience on a daily basis, but
there's no but.
Yeah.
You see, when you say, I'm having this, and then you go, but, you're canceling what you just said. So why not just stay? I am having these wonderful experiences, and I know they will continue. And even if I discover something within myself because of the reflective mirror that is out of alignment with that, I know I will use it to my advantage and continue having wonderful experiences, because discovering something that's out of alignment is part of my wonderful experience. So there is no but.
Okay.
Yes?
Yes.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
You are welcome. It's very important in these conversations to get you all off your butts.
I want to first thank you. This is my first Bashar event.
All right, good day to you. Speak up and be bold so that all may hear what you have to say.
Okay. My first question when I first wrote that down was I wanted to get a more, move more towards my passion, or let me say what I felt was my life purpose. You explained that somewhat today, a little bit, where I think I got some of it, but
Yes.
the kit, can you just go over that just a little bit more, this whole kit thing that you were just referring to, the reflective ed, so I can get it clearly?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
So the activation formula, as we said, is that you act on your passion to the best you can. In other words, that means whatever contains even just a little bit more excitement, attractiveness, curiosity than any other option at any given moment, you do that one first.
Okay.
With no assumption, no insistence on where you think it's supposed to lead or why it happened that way. That's the activation formula. You do it to the best of your ability till you can do it no further, till either you cannot take it any further or the excitement wanes, and that will be enough at that moment. When you keep doing that every moment with every option that comes along, no matter how simple or grand it may be, if it's always the one that contains more excitement than anything else, do that to the best you can with no insistence on the outcome. That activates all the tools in the kit. The first tool is the driving engine in your life. In other words, it moves you through life because if it is your passion, you are so excited and so energized to do it, nothing else matters and you just keep doing it. You follow me?
I do.
So it gives you the energy, it gives you the drive to do it because it's the frequency of your true self. You're aligned with it. It gives you the energy. It flows through you. The second tool is synchronicity, which is the organizing principle of your life. It will bring you the information and circumstances and opportunities you need in the order in which you need to act on them by allowing them to contain more excitement than anything else so that you recognize it's the first thing to act on. At the end of the day, when you are excited about being tired and going to sleep, whatever you didn't get done that day, if you were following the organizing principle as best as you could, didn't need to be done that day.
Okay.
Because it completely organizes everything you need to do when you need to do it. It's all about timing, not time. The next tool is it becomes the path of least resistance. It allows you to flow more easily in life, effortlessly in those things. Yes, of course, there will always be challenges. Yes, you might be doing some physical work, but as you say on your own planet, a labor of love is no labor at all. You enjoy what you're doing. It enriches you. It inspires you. It gives you a sense of grounding. It allows you to feel tangible connection to physical reality that you do these things. But it's still the path of least resistance. Many times when people think, oh, well, I just want to go from here to here, the straightest possible path. If that's not your path, if that's not the path that's aligned with you, then a path that winds around like this all over the place, but is actually the path of least resistance, will actually be faster than the shorter one, because the shorter one, if it's not yours, will be full of resistance and slow you down. So it becomes the path of least resistance. You start to trust the synchronicity that it takes you where you need to go. You follow that thread of passion in whatever form it comes, because that is the path of least resistance, because it's the energy that's most harmoniously aligned with you. So there is no resistance. Then it becomes the path that connects you to all expressions of excitement in your life that are relevant for your theme of exploration. Sometimes you may be doing one thing and it might look completely different from something else that may excite you, but if you act on the one that excites you the most to the best of your ability, if it is connected to the other one, it will lead you there eventually or give you what you need by the time you wind up doing this other thing. It is a timing dance, it's a choreography, it's an orchestration. All the things you need to do that are representative of your truth, of your vibration, of your path, of your excitement, will be done in your life in perfect timing. They don't all have to happen at once. You don't need to create this schedule of rush, rush, rush. I need to get this done because I'm going to miss something. I'm going to run out of time. No, it all orchestrates itself in perfect timing and connects you to every expression that you need to express in this life in order for you to feel fulfilled. It brings you whatever kind of support you need in life, whatever form of abundance you need, be it the idea on your planet of money, if that is necessary, or a gift, or synchronicity, or some other form of abundance that will support you in your ability to continue to act on your excitement. Because as we have said, our definition of abundance is simply the ability to do what you need to do when you need to do it. And pay attention to the fact that I didn't say it's the ability to do what you want to do. I said it's the ability to do what you need to do, because what you need in life is actually what will fulfill you. Sometimes your wants and your needs may coincide, but very often, if you are a little bit confused within the ego structure, something you think you want that will make things better may not actually be what you need. But if you always want what you need, your life will be fulfilled, because what you need will always come to you through the synchronicity. So abundance will be there to support you in whatever form or combination of symbols it needs to be there in order to support you to the degree that you can continue to do what you need to do to act on your excitement when you need to. Then there is the reflective mirror, as we said before, that always brings up, as you're traveling forward, something that says, wait a minute, you've gotten to a point now where your energy is such, on your higher vibration is such, that you can now handle me telling you that there is something within your belief system that's out of alignment with who you really prefer to be. So stop what you're doing, take a moment and realize that this is the most important thing you need to pay attention to right here and right now, because by paying attention to what that negative belief is that's out of alignment, finding out what it is, letting it go because it makes no sense, it doesn't serve you, is what will allow you to flow your energy through more positive belief systems and expand your ability to accelerate forward in your passion and in your excitement in life. And then the idea is that if you always remain in a positive state, knowing that everything happens for a reason, then even if something manifests that you don't neutrally, objectively prefer, if you use it in a positive state, you will be learning from it something that will serve you. You'll get a beneficial effect from it, and that will allow you to use what you don't prefer in a way that you do, remembering, as we said, that it doesn't really matter what happens, it only really matters what you do with what happens, and that's what makes all the difference, and that is the entire instruction manual. Does that help you?
It does. Thank you. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
One question.
Yes.
I'm finding that a lot of times in deep meditation, I am crying a lot.
That's all right. Understand that every time you hold on to a negative belief, and a positive one, but this concerns the negative ones.
Okay.
Because you are expressing yourself as a physical being, yes? You have a body that in your reality you say is made of chemicals, yes? Atoms, molecules, chemistry, yes? Mm-hmm. Well, every time you have a particular belief that you're holding on to, you're rewiring your neurology in your brain to create paths for that belief to exist. But you're also creating chemical constituents, chemical representations of that belief in your body. So when you are finally willing to be in a state where you don't need those negative beliefs, where you're letting them go, how are they going to get out of your body? They wash out through your tears.
I see.
That's tears of release. You understand?
I do.
Because when you go into those states, you can't hold on to those chemical components that represent negative beliefs. There's no place for them. So they have to escape from your body. They will flow out through your tears. They can flow out through perspiration and other ways as well. But most common is they will flow out through your tears. Yes?
Yes.
Does that help you?
It does. Thank you very much.
You are so very welcome.
Okay.
We, last night of your time, also mentioned that we would be speaking about the idea of the transformation itself, the accelerating wave of collective consciousness that many of you have intuitively recognized reaches a critical mass threshold in and around your cycle that you call 2012. This simply represents the idea of crossing into critical mass, where you have the potential for total positive reality. You have that now, of course. But after 2012, the idea of positive energy will be so much more available to so many more of you that if you should choose to ride the crest of that wave, the leading edge of that wave of consciousness, you can accelerate so rapidly, you can attract to yourself so rapidly the things that are representative of your passion, of your joy, without knowing in any way, shape, or form how these things could have happened, beyond reason, beyond logic, that again, your life will become literally so dreamlike, it will be at first dizzying and disorienting until you get used to it. Literally, you'll be walking through life like it's a dream, marveling at the miraculous synchronicities that just are popping up as a matter of course. Yes. When you ride the leading edge of the wave of consciousness. If, however, you choose to continue to compartmentalize your physical mind and make it responsible for being in charge, and have to know the how, and have to know the why, and have to know all the details before you'll be willing to believe that the higher self can simply bring this to you, then you will, by choice, position yourself somewhere down the line from the leading edge, in some of the eddies and currents and backwashes in the wake of the leading edge. Now, it doesn't mean that you cannot find benefit in those locations, in those gradations of frequency behind the leading edge. But wherever it is you position yourself, you simply have to understand the effect you create will be absolutely directly commensurate with where you have positioned yourself, and it will not be any more than that. By definition, it cannot be any more than that. As an analogy, your visible spectrum of light. You understand that in the visible spectrum of light, red is a low frequency, the lowest visible frequency you can perceive with your eyes. Violet is the highest visible frequency you can perceive with your eyes in general. We understand many of you are beginning to stretch these boundaries, but for the purpose of this illustration, let's just stick with the common labeling of this visible spectrum. Now, you know, if something exists on the frequency of violet light, it's at a very high level of frequency, very high level of energy. And it will experience the things that go hand in hand with that level. If something chooses to exist on the other end of the spectrum, in the red frequency, it will be functioning at a lower wavelength, a slower wavelength, a lower vibration, and will only experience the things that are commensurate with that level in the spectrum. It's all energy, it's all light, it's all the same stuff, as you say, but the difference in gradation of the vibrational frequency will ultimately determine what is capable of being experienced on that level. If you're operating at a certain wavelength toward the lower end of that spectrum, you will only perceive red. Only! You will never perceive violet at that end of the spectrum. If you are operating at the violet end of the spectrum on a high frequency level, you will only perceive violet. You will never perceive red at that end of the spectrum. Ever. So, the leading edge of the wave of your collective consciousness on this transformation, you can live there and ride the crest, or you can allow yourself to float back into the wake. Somewhere in there will be vibrations that will be representative of whatever degree you are willing to allow your belief system to take hold. So, you must understand that if you do that, there are consequences to that. The consequence being that you can only perceive what is directly commensurate with the level you're on and nothing else. Nothing lower, but nothing higher. But you are all capable of choosing to ride the crest, the leading edge. All right. Now, when some of you consider this, you get scared. It's going too fast for me. I might fall off. I might crash. I might smack into a brick wall. As if suddenly one would appear. Of course it will if you create it. But again, understand that if you create that brick wall, that's an indication you are no longer on the leading edge. Brick walls do not exist by definition on the leading edge. They only exist back down the line, in the wake, in one of the eddies, in one of the currents that is representative of belief systems that there are such things as brick walls. But if you're truly, truly, truly riding the leading edge, truly, as you say, surfing the crest, then you will understand that just like being on the top of the mountain, you have a clear and unobstructed view of everything in front of you. And you ride that wave right into ecstasy. Ride the leading edge of the ecstasy. Allow yourself the opportunity to know you can. You don't have to choose to. But then if you don't be surprised by what is commensurate for that level. It's completely up to you what to lock onto, what to believe, what to align with, what to associate yourself with. You can, on one hand, say, I understand these concepts. I believe these concepts. I will live these concepts. I am this idea. It can happen instantly, effortlessly, miraculously, wonderfully, joyfully, creatively, lovingly, now, for me. Or you can recognize that you tend, quote unquote, choose to gravitate more to informational sources that confirm your own fear. Well, one should take their time. Well, one has to be careful with this stuff. Now, we understand that there is such a thing as recognizing and honoring whatever belief system you happen to have, and not pushing yourself beyond it if you truly don't believe you can, because that would simply be disastrous. But the idea is to understand and to clearly take responsibility for knowing that if you are aligning with someone that says, well, you can't just go full throttle because you have to be careful that you're not doing this and you're not doing that. You might fool yourself here, you might fool yourself there, and you have to take it easy. If you align yourself with that, that's all well and good. But understand that you are choosing to, and it has nothing at all to do with the fact that you could change your belief and allow yourself to ride the leading edge where things manifest instantaneously. You could. But if you are not, it's your choice. And that's, once again, where you really need to be passionate about being passionate and find out why you are choosing to not ride the leading edge. You will obviously have your own reason for not doing so. Whatever that reason is, whatever you feel is the need for safety, is up to you to determine. but just take responsibility and recognize the responsibility and the choice that you are making for understanding that it's not empirically true that you have to do it that way. It's not empirically true that you have to listen to what that person is saying as opposed to what this person is saying. It's just your choice. Take responsibility for it and then be passionate about finding out why you believe what you do, so that you can, if you are willing, open up to new beliefs that will allow you to move up the spectrum and be in the violet instead of in the red, financially speaking. So, allow yourselves to simply at every given moment recognize what you're doing. Let go of the need to understand the how of it. Because you see, one of the things that stops many of you from having the experiences that were described in the recording is that, for example, when someone says, well, you know, I simply got into the state where I believed I would simply receive more checks. Your physical, logical, reasonable mind goes, well, where the heck are they supposed to come from? I haven't done anything to earn that money. What are you saying? That some stranger just suddenly going to get into his head to pop a check in the mail to me for no reason whatsoever, and I'm just going to go to my mailbox and open a check that comes from a total stranger that's suddenly giving me exactly what I want? Yes! Yes, that is what's being said. Yes, that is one possible way. Yes, that is one possible example of what could happen. But when your logical, reasonable, physical mind going, how does that make any sense? The thing to remind it is that it doesn't have to. It doesn't have to make sense. When you stop needing it to make sense, then you'll make dollars. You have got to give up. You've got to give up your need, your physical mind's need for everything to have a reason, for everything to make logical sense in the physical third-dimensional world. If you say you wish to live in fourth-density reality, you must give up the things that are commensurate with the three-dimensional world, such as logic, reason, not totally. I'm not saying be willy-nilly, fly by the seat of your pants people. I'm saying be aware of the fact that these things are simply points of view, and that you often stop yourselves from allowing these things to come to you because you logic them to death. You detail them to death, literally. You look for a chain of reasonable connection. And believe me, in fourth density reality, there are many chains that to a third density mind are not reasonable or rational at all. You have asked us, how do we travel from star to star? And we have explained to you, we don't travel from star to star. We're simply here, then we're simply there. The logical mind boggles. But how did you get there? How is it possible to go from here to there without stepping on all the places in between? That's not rational. That's not logical. Yes, it is from a different point of view. I'm talking about not abandoning logic. I'm talking about higher logic. The logic that comes from standing on the mountaintop where you can see the entire valley, the entire network, and where it makes sense to you on the mountaintop to say, if you actually go back 3 steps and then to the left, you're actually going to get there more quickly than if you just go straight ahead. Whereas down in the valley, the logical mind self is going, but everyone knows the shortest distance between 2 points is a straight line, and if I go backwards, how can I get there sooner than if I go forwards? How? And the higher self goes, ugh. Because I can see that if you go forward there, the bridge is out, and if you take 3 steps back and go to the left, you go on a parallel road where the bridge is fine. But the point is that the language of the higher self cannot always communicate all those specifics to the physical mind, because the physical mind does not always have the capacity for that kind of translation. The only way that dialogue, most often than not from the higher self, translates to the physical mind is simply suddenly the urge to go back. The urge itself, the intuition itself, in the physical mind is the condensation and capsulization of the entire explanation from the higher self, saying, if you go 3 steps back and then go to the left and go down the parallel road, then the bridge is up. But all the physical mind will get is the tug. That's how it translates in physical reality, because the physical mind is not capable of actually perceiving in the same way the higher self is, and doesn't have to know all the reasons why and how. All it needs to do is know that that's part of who you are, and allow yourself to recognize that that is a communication, and to follow it, and that you have received the information that you need, because it's on the same wavelength of your joy, of your passion. Why? Because you say it is. And you flow with it, and thus find out that it is. Or resist it for as long as you want, and keep walking on the same road until you get to the washed out bridge and go, oh, why didn't I listen to my intuition back there? Because you thought you were in charge, smarty. But you're not. Not you alone. You are in charge, but not you alone, physical mind. Physical mind, higher self, that's the you that's in charge. Both aspects of your being is the persona, not just the physical personality self. That's only a part of it. So if you want to know you're in charge, you have to behave like the whole you, and be willing to open up and receive and perceive in whatever way it works for you the dialogue and the communication coming from the portion of yourself that is the higher self, that has the higher point of view, that has the bigger picture, and be willing to understand it's working on your behalf. It's not going to trick you. It's not going to deceive you. The only thing in your reality that can create the idea of tricks and deception is the physical mind's belief system, not the higher self. Because it is only in physical, three-dimensional reality that you can have the experience of a personality structure that can actually deny its own truth. So any tricks, any deception that you may be afraid of encountering can only actually be coming from the personality aspect that's actually afraid it's going to be deceived. That's the paradox. It can't come from the higher self because that's a bigger picture point of view. And it can clearly see the road. And there is no reason, there is no logic for the higher self to go, yeah, take the left road. Watch and see how my lower self falls into the river. This ought to be fun. Oops, I went with it. You are under the assumption that the higher self is immune from what you experience in physical reality. Incorrect. You are one being, and the higher self will suffer the slings and arrows that the physical mind shoots itself with. You are one being. And it is not detached from you. And it is not immune to the consequences of the physical mind's choices. But because the higher self is closer to the vibration of unconditional love, it will overlook it. Again and again and again and again. Attempting to unconditionally loving you, reminding you, please take the other road, please. Oh, here we go again. It is not immune to the consequences of the physical mind's acts and choices. Do not assume that it is. But it is close enough to unconditional love to forgive it and to keep giving you the benefit of the doubt. That's the relationship of your higher self. That's its job. To keep on guiding you no matter what. Because it is the vibration of unconditional love that the physical mind often refuses to allow itself to perceive through the belief systems it chooses to buy into that deny its truth to itself. So, higher self says, please, 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 please know you are loved. Please, please, please allow me to love you. Please, please, please love yourself enough to know you're not alone in this. That you don't have to do it all. That you weren't designed to. You weren't expected to. Ever. Not once. Carry this burden by yourself. Let me be your guide because I am you. Become familiar with that portion of yourself. It is not detached. It is not separate. It is not aloof. It is not in its own realm unaware of what you are choosing to experience. It will also experience it in its own way. But nevertheless, will always overlook it and always urge you forward. Or left, or back, or whatever is necessary. Take a deep breath and let this sink in deeply, deeply, deeply. And allow yourself to at least consider the possibility that you deserve to be on the leading edge of the crest of the wave of consciousness of the transformation. Take another deep breath. Now, in terms of your time frame, what is the time remaining for this?